by saying it's a special edition, but today actually really is. We have a lot going on throughout the show. We've got a whole new look to Chicago Live going on right now. And here's the thing about Chicago Live. There's a good chance when you watch the show, it is either myself or the illustrious, talented Casey Cronus. And it always feels like you got to make a choice whether you're watching one of us or watching the other. Today, of all days, you don't have to.
We're together
You
today.
get both of us. We're here on the desk. We've got a new look. We've got a new set. We've got new abilities. The sky's the limit.
The sky's the limit. And Jake, it's always great to work with you, and getting to do this together today makes it a very happy Friday.
There's always something really cool going on here. And, you know, just to kind of give you a little bit of a geography lesson of the newsroom, there's a pane of glass right there. And on the other side of that glass is everybody. Yeah. It's producers, it's reporters, it's everybody who kind of brings this show together in a way.
We previously were hosting from upstairs, so we had to exit the newsroom, take a little walk around the building, but now we are in our newsroom, essentially, and we get to see our colleagues, they get to see us. We'll hear about breaking news a lot faster since we're right next to the assignment desk. So as we're getting used to this, we hope you will bear with us as we learn the ropes.
So I keep wanting to show off because we've got such a great set and they've done such an amazing job, so I keep wanting to sort of show off everything that they have going on. You and I got to see something, you know, one of the benefits of, as you can tell, sort of being a part of this set and just about every sort of view imaginable is some kind of a cool piece of breaking news going on. So you and I got to see something really cool live as it happened, which was the actual the launch.
We were in this studio getting ready for today when SpaceX launched from Cape Canaveral, and we recorded on this shot. It is such a cool mission, but of course, those who live in Florida get to experience this every single week. For us, it's really fun to see something like this, and we have video of that launch queued up here. You'll see it momentarily as it gets ready to take off. Again, this happens all the time in Florida.
This is something really cool, and I'm going to bring down our CG just so you can see it. There is the classic quintessential Hollywood countdown at the bottom. And, you know, that was sort of the cool thing to sort of watch this live, and just the technology that we have these days to be able to sort of see these things happen in real time. And then that was the launch that we were watching in real time as this happened. This was unbelievably cool. They really did an amazing job of making this available for so many people to watch live. And you know, there were so many launches. Whenever I was a kid, I grew up in the suburbs of Houston. So, you know, obviously space travel was such a part of my life growing up. So seeing these things made accessible to so many people, they really did do a great job of showing that. So really props to them for making that possible. We have some really amazing guests coming up here on Chicago Live. Are there any that you're particularly looking forward to talking to?
You know, Jake, there is a local teacher who passed away from complications of COVID-19 back in 2023, and her dad will be joining us because she is so passionate about her students, and she has particularly had a passion for ensuring that all of her kids have equitable access to food and healthy food. So tomorrow there will be a ribbon cutting called Caitlin's Kitchen. It will be launched in Waukegan, and this will give students access to be able to learn and have firsthand educational opportunities around food and healthy food. It'll be held right outside of a greenhouse. So this kitchen, that's where it will be located, and they will learn so much just in proximity to the greenhouse.
I love that. And that is, to me, the quintessential kind of the story that perfectly fits sort of a format like Chicago Live, in that, you know, oftentimes, and, you know, you and I have been a part of it for a long time, whether it's Good Day Chicago or Fox 32 News at 5, you know, we got to move and go, right? Oftentimes with stories, maybe we have 3, if we're blessed, maybe 4 minutes. And sort of the benefit of something like a Chicago Live is that that's a conversation quite frankly, that needs 15 minutes and on a show like this is going to get 15 minutes.
Yeah, you know, typically in our reports, we have to cut things down to a few of someone's best sound bites.
Sure.
But in this case, we'll really get to dive in. We are speaking with Caitlin's dad. And, you know, as you can imagine, this is an emotional weekend for him as he gets ready to debut Caitlin's Kitchen with the help of local partners. This is in his daughter's memory, and this is a legacy that will continue to carry her name.
It's going to be a great conversation. Speaking of some important conversations that we have to have, there's a lot going on around the city of Chicago today. We're going to check in with Casey Cronus in just a couple of minutes to sort of talk about that. But when in just a moment, we are going to be talking about, this was just into the newsroom, a pretty massive lawsuit against NIPSCO. Listen, those storms that blew through have been a part of the conversation of the news cycle for a while, and not just because of how serious the storms were, but the ripple effects. It is the people who are left without power. And it's not just the inconvenience of not having power. Imagine maybe you were in the middle of a surgery. Maybe you were in the middle of something truly, genuinely important happening, and then boom, power goes out. We are going to bring in Kenneth J. Allen, founder of the Allen Law Group. Mr. Allen, first of all, thank you for taking the time to join us. Let me give you, let's see, I'm going to, you'll have to, Mr. Allen, we are currently working with a couple of different things to make sure to get the mics up and going. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Mr. Allen, are you with us?
I am with you, sir. Can you hear me?
Let's see. All right. All right, guys. All right. Can we try that? Sorry, Mr. Allen, we are currently working with technical difficulties right now. I tell you what, guys, Perry, what do you say we maybe jump to a quick break? Mr. Allen, we will be right back. Perry, why don't you say we jump to a quick break? We're going to get our microphones figured out, and we will be right back in just a moment. All right, I'm the guy then. All right, I'm going to roll to break. All right, guys, we will be right back.
Technology is great when it works. You got it? All right, there you go.
is that we are going to be trying a couple of different things to figure out the logistics of the new format of the show. But this next topic that we're going to talk about is a very serious one. I mentioned off the top, we're going to be talking about that class action lawsuit against NIPSCO. We're going to bring in Kenneth J. Allen, of the founder of the Allen Law Group. Mr. Allen, first of all, thank you for your patience as we figure out the technical difficulties of the show, and thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Can you tell us a little bit about this lawsuit and really it representing the people who are continuing to feel the wide sort of repercussions of those storms that blew through?
Well, we're here, frankly, because thousands upon thousands of Northwest Indiana residents are without power. And these residents, and the ones that power has been restored to, in fact, want to force NIPSCO to account for the harms it's caused because of not only this outage, but the many, many other outages, unnecessary outages over the past 2 years, because all of them could and should have been prevented by proper vegetation management. You see, the utilities like NIPSCO all know that most outages are caused by vegetation, trees falling over power lines and so forth. And they know that when you have that vegetation close to the power lines, inevitably it's going to cause an outage. So they have rules, there are standards, there are regulations that require the vegetation to be managed properly. You trim it back every 5 to 7 years at least. That's something that NIPSCO has not done and has failed to do for many years now. And that culminates in the outages like the one we've seen and are seeing now in Northwest Indiana, where people are without power for a week or more. So we want to hold NIPSCO to account. We want to change its behavior so that it properly manages the vegetation around its power transmission and distribution lines, and that at the end of the day, it makes a change and prevents this kind of foreseeable, preventable event from occurring again.
You know, I know the word foreseeable is probably going to be maybe the word that they try to argue against, that maybe they're going to say, hey, there was, the act of God and we can't control what the weather is going to do. What has their response been, and are they pushing back on that word foreseeable?
Well, doubtless that will be a stand that they will try to take. But the reality is, these storms, weather events, I should say, have been increasing in frequency and severity for some time now. B, they know that when vegetation is in dangerous proximity to the distribution lines and the power lines, it's going to cause an outage because, C, the trees go down, they're going to take the lines and poles with them. So this is something that all reasonable, prudent utility companies know. Now, NIPSCO has the highest rates of any utility in the state of Indiana. I think there are 8 of them. NIPSCO's at the top. And they have the worst reliability or restoration of power record in the state. Why is that? Well, because they are just reactive. They're not proactive. If there's no maintenance, if there's no preventative program to pare back the vegetation and keep it off the distribution lines, guess what? You're going to have outages. All utilities know that most outages are caused by vegetation. So this is why it is a fundamental standard in the industry that you have a program where the vegetation is managed, all progressively. In other words, it's preventive, it's not reactive. And all NIPSCO has been doing for the past 5 years is be reactive. It's got to stop.
You know, one of the examples that I read of some of the people that were affected, correct me if I'm wrong, was there a gentleman who was mid-dental surgery while the power went out?
Sure. I mean, look, most people have food spoilage or flooded basements because some pumps are not working, but thousands have suffered real, foreseeable medical harm. Janelle and Wiley Creel, for example, have severe asthma, which is, of course, made worse when you don't have air conditioning, and they require nebulizer treatment. Well, they can't do that because there's no power. Marge Schragle was having emergency surgery because of a fractured hip. That had to be put off for several days because of no power. And you just mentioned Mr. Tippold, Jack Tippold, who was in dental surgery at the time the power went out, had all of his teeth removed, and that was terminated, and he was sent home without proper pain management, thinking that the doctors thought, of course, he could get a prescription filled. Well, he couldn't. There were no pharmacies available. So all of these things happen again and again to so many different people. So it's not simply pecuniary damage from spoiled food or flooded basements. It is real harm to human beings, and it's got to stop. And we're hoping that this class action will demonstrate to NIPSCO the enormous power of its customers when they stand together. And standing together, we intend to force some change. We want to impose accountability on NIPSCO for all the foreseeable harm that they caused because of their negligent vegetation management.
You know, to that point, Mr. Allen, what are some of the things, I mean, it stands to reason storms have blown through our area in the past, and they are going to, again, we might even have some severe storms a little bit later tonight. So what are some of the proactive things that you believe that NIPSCO should be doing right now to prevent some of those things that you just talked about from happening?
Well, the first and foremost is to inspect the distribution lines for invasion by trees and other vegetation. Because when those lines are within a short distance of trees or other vegetation, it's almost a foregone conclusion that with any kind of a storm that capable of blowing down trees or other limbs, it's going to take the power line with it. You see, the utilities all know that the primary source of outages is vegetation. So that's something you have to, if you're running a correct and proper utility, that's something you got to manage. And in our opinion, and I think the facts prove themselves, NIPSCO has been negligent in that. They have no cycle of inspection and management of the vegetation, which is just negligent in and of itself.
Mr. Allen, we do appreciate your time. I'd imagine that this is a story that we are going to be following for a while, so we do appreciate you breaking it down for us.
You're welcome, and those that are interested in joining the class action should visit NIPSCOclassaction.com.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Bye.
All right, guys, we have a lot of other things going on around the city as well. We want to dip in live really quick to Loyola unveiling. Take a look at this. Unveiling the Sister Jean statue on what would have been, this is her birthday today. We're getting our first look out at it. Let's listen in for a moment.
At the start of every academic year, Sister Jean loved going to our residence halls, sprinkling holy water on students and reminding them that they were blessed, loved, and never alone. Just last night, a group of us Jesuits carried on that tradition. So today, it only seems fair that Sister Jean finally gets the full treatment herself. Because for years, Sister Jean made sure that plenty of Loyola students and staff got a healthy dose of holy water. Today, Sister Jean, this one is for you. And so let's pray. May this water bless this statue and all who pass by it. May it remind us of Sister Jean's faith, her joy, her prayers, and her conviction that God's blessing is meant to be shared generously. And we pray this in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
All right, so as you can see, Sister Jean is here. She's sitting on a bench with a spot next to her for people to come and have their pictures taken. And Sister Jean loved getting her picture taken. It is only fitting that her closest friend, her longtime confidant, Tom Hitcho, will be the first person to sit with Sister Jean for a picture. So Hitch, come on up here for the first sit and the first picture with Sister Jean. Thank you, Tom. All right, that will conclude our program. Thank you all for coming. One more thing, though. We're all doing this together. Amen. God bless. And go Ramblers.
All right, guys, you were taking a look. Loyola unveiling their statue honoring Sister Jean. Beautiful statue, an amazing turnout there. You can see lots of people turning out to honor Sister Jean on her birthday. Beautiful statue. We have much more to come on Chicago Live. You don't want to go anywhere. We will be right back. To Chicago Live. We have a lot of things going on the rest of the show today. This is a story that you've probably seen a lot about. The USS Abraham Lincoln heading home after what a lot of people are describing as a grueling 9-month deployment, about 5,000 sailors and Marines aboard. We are going to bring in Richard Kalko, who is a retired U.S. Navy commander and a Navy pilot. Thank you for joining us, sir. We appreciate you.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you. Important issue.
Yeah, absolutely important. Can you tell us a little bit about what you have heard is what was happening aboard?
Well, we've certainly heard from the parents, we've heard from some of the sailors, and we've heard from the official Navy channels. So my guess is after you take all those stories and put them together, there's something in the middle is probably what's accurate. We have to remember that even though this is a long, grueling deployment, it's hard to fathom the hard work that these young men and women are doing every single day, 15, 16, 18 hours a day for month after month after month. There's no days off. There's no Monday through Friday there. It's every single day. And that doesn't matter if they're in a war zone or not in a war zone. It's hardworking folks. The living conditions are always tight. We've all seen those videos of their sleeping quarters. It's 3 bunks high with only a couple inches between the bunks. So absolutely very hard work. And then throw that in to the middle of a war zone, of a war that took or is taking significantly longer than was expected. And absolutely, it's been a hard deployment for the USS Lincoln and the men and women that are embarked on that ship.
Best day. On their best day, they're living conditions that most of us would have a difficult time with. And that's important to remember, that I'd imagine these are not men and women who are just complaining because they're uncomfortable. Their best day, they're uncomfortable. So I'd imagine that if there are complaints to be had, there's something to say about that.
There is. I'm not a carrier sailor, so I don't want to say that I've been there and done that. I wasn't on there, so I'm not going to say exactly what it was like. But the fact of the matter that we're discussing this actually is a little bit problematic. And I can understand the Navy and the government being upset about that, as well as the commanding officer of the ship. This provides information to Iran, to other potential adversaries around the world, that, hey, you can just run the U.S. Navy, into the ground by just keeping this thing extended this long, 6, 8, 9 months. Very problematic. So the fact that social media exists and some of these complaints are making it out into the public venue, that in itself is troubling. That's intelligence. That's operational security. Shouldn't be out there. I don't know how to fix it. The only way to really fix it is the commanding officer can turn off the social media, and that would stop it. But he doesn't want to do that to his sailors and Marines. Supply, absolutely very complex. Not having ports of call, very complex. Typically, a carrier goes out for 6 or 7 months and has a port call every maybe 30 to 45 days, gives the folks a chance to do some R&R. But because they're in the area where Iran can reach out and touch someone with their drones or ballistic missiles, it's made it very complex to have those port calls. They haven't been able to do that. And then on top of that, I don't think we were well aware of how I don't want to use the word successful, but I guess I have no other choice. Successful some of the Iranian attacks were, especially in Bahrain, which is the hub for a lot of the supply for the U.S. ships out there. There was a lot of destruction there, and it's made it a lot harder to supply the ships. So absolutely, there's been shortages, there's been difficulties, there's been complexities. But by the time these men and women get home, which hopefully will be in the next 2 weeks or so, they will hopefully have an opportunity to rest and relax. And I know that at the end of the day, they'll take pride in the service they gave to the United States during this very difficult time.
Richard, I want to follow up on something that you said. It was more than 200 days without a port? That's accurate?
Yeah, I think actually a bunch more than that, but yeah, just a long time to be, as I said in the Navy, haze gray and underway, not having the opportunity to go on to dry ground, get a different meal, sleep in a hotel bed if you want to buy one, or just have a day or two away from the stress and strain of being deployed.
I wanted to ask, we talk a lot of about the physicality of it and maybe sort of the actual physical discomforts, aboard something like that. But that long of a stretch without reaching port, one, is that normal? And two, I mean, what sort of mental impact do you think that has on the people aboard?
No, it's not normal, or it's not what's planned. I mean, the U.S. Navy plans out its carrier deployments and all its ship deployments well into the future. Obviously, things take precedent, such as a war, and that changes what's going to happen on that calendar. But again, the goal is 6 or 7 months for deployment, maybe 8. But these men and women were out there for much longer than expected, didn't get those port calls. As far as the mental toll, we're hearing more about it than we would have heard, again, because of social media. I've been watching some of the stuff online here, and I see a lot of parents talking about their children or their service members, out there. That's not good. That's going to hurt. Those service men and women are going to come back, and the other sailors and Marines are going to see that and say, your mommy and daddy was on TV saying how tough a time you were having. So you got to think down the road. But as far as measuring the impact of the mental health difficulties that these young people are going through. While I think some people are rushing to answers right now, I think that's going to take a little more time. And I'm guessing the Navy's going to take that time with some of their medical personnel and do an actual measurement of what toll this has taken on them, and see if there's ways to improve that going forward into the future.
Fantastic information. An important topic, as you said, sir. I do appreciate you taking the time to break this down for us. And on behalf of everyone, we'd like to say thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Right. You too. All right, guys, we have much more to come here on Good Day Chicago. Listen, we have a lot of different shows that are going on here, but this is Chicago Live. We have much more to come. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Welcome back to Chicago Live. My colleague Jake did an amazing job kicking things off for us. I do want to switch gears now. We are going to introduce to you our next guest. We had her on last week, Alice LaCour from the Prosecutors Podcast. We are so happy to have her back with us today because today a huge update in the trial of Lindsay Clancy. Of course, we have been covering this now for several weeks. Lindsay Clancy is accused of strangling her 3 young children. This case is out of Massachusetts. Today, a big update in that trial when the defense rested. We want to bring in now Alice, who is joining us for today. Hi, Alice.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So tell us, Alice, a little bit about what unfolded in these last several days in the courtroom when the defense took that case.
So it's actually been pretty slow trial days with a lot of early releases. So though the defense has been going all week, we've ended court very early as 10 or 11 in the morning one day. And then today, after one more forensic psychiatrist who is one of the most famous psychiatrists, actually, who's testified in these types of cases, finished, the defense rested, which meant we moved on to the third phase of the case, the rebuttal for the prosecution.
And Alice, tell me, how do you think the defense fared when it came to them taking on this case and trying to prove to the jury that Lindsay was not in the correct mindset when she strangled her kids?
So, like you said, the prosecution's theory is that she meticulously and intentionally killed each of her three kids. So, when the defense got up, they had the duty and the burden of proof to show that she had a mental defect, psychosis specifically, postpartum psychosis, that caused her to lose her mind and act completely unlike she had ever acted before. And she had no control over her actions when she ended those kids' lives. Therefore, she's not able to be held criminally liable. Now, how did they fare? I will say they had several forensic psychiatrists who said all the right things. They said that Lindsay heard voices. They said that she loved her children very much and that she would never do this outside of these voices telling her to do so. But upon cross-examination from the prosecution, a lot of their analysis kind of fell apart. We heard testimony that Lindsay heard voices, or she reported to, only days after the murders. And it was just that momentary psychosis. It never came back, unlike other cases of psychosis. And we also heard pretty devastating testimony of her not grieving her children on their birthdays, but rather sitting there scrolling her phone and playing dominoes. How will this play with the jury? We will find out once they deliberate. But I will say the defense seemed to come out strong, but there was some pretty devastating cross-examination that cut against her theory.
And Alice, this has just been such a devastating trial when you think about the real situation that is at the center of this. And there are so many moms out there who are watching this trial, so many in the courtroom as well. Can you just kind of take a step back, wide lens, on why this trial has gained such national attention?
This case has captured all of us because it's always devastating when you have a mother who has admitted she killed her three young children. But on top of that, we're talking about something that's very real for very many women: postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, postpartum struggles in general. And so this Lindsay Clancy trial has really blown up into something so much more than just a simple triple murder case. It's become this national conversation about mental health support for women in those postpartum days, weeks, months, year. And whether that is the right time to have this conversation or not, we will see, especially as we see how the jury decides whether she's guilty or not guilty by reason of having this postpartum psychosis. But I think the reason you see so many people care so much is all of us are touched by different types of mental struggles, and it's an incredibly important topic.
It really is. And this gallery has been full when we have watched this case play out for several weeks. We talked about it last week, but Lindsay herself has been in a really dark place during this trial, as you can imagine anyone would be, but she's been breaking down. We've seen her sobbing. How much weight might that hold with the jury members?
These jury members are people. They see a young woman in front of them who's lost everything. She sits in a wheelchair because she can no longer walk. She's paralyzed from the legs down because this was an attempted suicide along with the triple murders. And also they see this mother crying at the autopsies of her children, saying things like, "I can't do this anymore." I think you'd have to be without a heart to not be pulled on that. Now, the flip side is, of course, she is the one who's responsible for these deaths. And so I think this is going to be a really tough case. You'll see argument earlier this week where they argued about whether this case should not be first-degree murder, but something lesser. I wouldn't be surprised if the jury tried to convict on something lesser, because we have just devastating facts. And at the end of the day, no sort of verdict will bring back these three children. So this is going to be deeply emotional for the jury who has to deliberate.
And Alice, as a former prosecutor, if you could just walk us through what happens if the jury does believe that Lindsay was not in the right mindset at the time of these murders. Will she be committed to a hospital, another type of institutional facility? What happens if the jury makes that decision?
This is such an important question that I think a lot of people don't understand. If she is found not guilty by reason of mental defect, and that's the legal term, she can't be held even in a facility indefinitely. Rather, she's going to be evaluated to see whether she's a harm to others or society. And if they deem her not to be a harm, she is free to go as any free citizen. And one thing to note that we're hearing from all of her own doctors, she's fine now. She has dark thoughts, but she is not in the state she was when she murdered. So I don't think we'll see a situation where she's going to be held for the rest of her life in a mental institution.
And, you know, we have seen also a lot of women wearing pink that have been attending this trial. Will any outside factors affect the jury in this case, or have they done a good job of whisking the jury in and out of that courthouse through back doors and directing them straight to their cars, for example? I know it's so important to kind of shield the jury from any outside factors in especially a high-profile case like this one.
You know, they are trying to shield the jury, but the reality is they can't shield them from everything. People have First Amendment rights. They're standing outside, they're cheering, they're yelling. And so even if the jurors are not standing next to these supporters, protesters, whatever you want to call them, they can actually hear them from the courthouse. And other people sitting in the gallery who are in the same room as the jurors, they're also wearing pink in support of Lindsay Clancy. Now, there may not be explicit signs as to why they're doing that, but I think using deductive reasoning, the jurors know. At the very least, the jurors know that they're being whisked away like this because the entire country, if not the world, is watching. That is an immense amount of pressure on them. And like all people, the more you're under the microscope, the more self-conscious you may feel. We don't know how this will cut, but I will say everyone in support, yelling one way or the other, it's going to impact the jury in some way. The court's doing all it can to make sure that they only make their decision based on what's presented in court. But the reality is, yes, it will have an impact at the end of the day. We just don't know how.
And walk us through what happens next in the rebuttal and then as we move into next week.
So the rebuttal case is very important because unlike your typical case, because there's an insanity defense, now the prosecution has the burden of proof to show that even if she had psychosis, they can challenge that aspect. But even if she had it, she knew what she was doing. This is going to be down to what we call a battle of the experts. And we see that with the rebuttal's first witness. It's another psychiatrist. You're going to have doctor versus doctor looking at Lindsay Clancy and saying whether she's criminally liable. We're going to see, who fares better at the end of the day. We saw with the defense, cross-examination was devastating. We'll see how the defense does on cross-examination in the rebuttals case. Then once this is over, the jury gets to deliberate.
Alice, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us again and break all of this down. Is there anything else that you want our viewers to know as they watch the final days of this trial unfold?
You know, this case really triggers a lot of personal experiences and emotions. But one thing to remember, and this is the beauty of the American justice system, is this is a trial specifically about the facts in Lindsay Clancy's case and the murders of Cora, Dawson, and Callan. And so whatever the outcome is, it shouldn't dictate how we view mental health writ large. There can be changes that need to be made in mental health in this country, but it doesn't have to rely on just this one case. At the end of the day, this case should be about the 3 young children who have lost their lives.
Alice, thank you so much for your insight. We appreciate you joining us. All right, and we do want to take you out to that trial. Let's take a moment to listen in before we head to a quick break.
Purposes of an opinion regarding criminal responsibility or lack thereof for the district attorney's office, correct?
What do you mean by investigate?
You don't know what investigate means? You want me to explain that to you?
You might.
You're a psychiatrist that's employed by the district attorney, right?
Retained by, yes.
Oh, okay, so we're going to talk semantics. Isn't employed by, retained by, mean that you get money from it, right?
I'm paid for my time, yes.
Exactly. And normally I don't even go there. Every one of us are getting paid for our time. Jurors not so much, but nevertheless, you get paid for your time, right?
Correct.
I get paid for my time. The judge, Chrissy, Don, everybody gets paid for their time, right?
I imagine, yes.
So when you are retained by the district attorney's office, you are to evaluate an individual, right?
Yes.
And the individual in this case is Lindsay Clancy, correct?
Yes.
And you recognize her, do you not?
I do.
And you actually had a chance to meet with her and do your evaluation, right?
Yes.
And part of your evaluation, you had to investigate into who she was. For example, her education, what she did for work, friends, family, right?
I asked her about her life, and I reviewed records to learn about her life, yes.
Okay. So you're in a mental institution investigating or questioning a woman who's on medication, who is there because she's suicidal and under one-on-one 24/7 observation. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
And you get the history from her?
Yes.
So did you talk to any collateral contacts?
No.
So how is it that you can tell this jury what her life story is? Did you get it from her?
I got it from her to the extent that, I'm sorry,
What did she tell you?
Can you say your...
Never mind looking at the judge. What did she tell you about the education?
Wait, listen. You look over there and listen to the question and answer the question.
Can you say the question, please?
Answer the question.
What did she tell you about? I'm sorry.
Right. Ask the question,
What did she
answer
tell
the
you?
question, and we'll go from there.
What did she tell you about her education?
She described her education in terms of being a hard worker through high school and college, and then going to nursing school.
Okay, where'd she go to nursing school?
I think the nursing school was through Partners Healthcare, I think at the MGH.
And do you recall what the nature of the nursing was?
Well, she had always wanted to be a labor and delivery nurse, and she was able to achieve that.
So she worked as a labor and delivery nurse?
That's my understanding, yes.
For a period of time?
For several years, yes.
9 years, 7 years?
I'm not sure exactly.
Did you talk to any of the nurses that you work with? I mean, was she respected? Was she a hard worker? Was she somebody that was ducking out early, didn't want to work?
I didn't talk to any of her colleagues. I'm aware that she had been there for some time, and I did not hear about any aspects in which her work was deleterious.
Well, who would you hear from, them?
Well, one might have heard it from the notes from her spouse. It might have heard it from the defendant herself.
Let's talk about one might have heard it. Is the one you're testifying?
Yes.
Did you hear about it through the notes of the spouse?
No, I didn't hear about any way in which her work
Okay, so why
wasn't.
are you telling me that? Why are you saying one might have heard about it through the notes of the spouse?
Well, I think your question was, how would one learn about any deleterious acts or components of the person's work? So I didn't hear about any way in which she wasn't working hard and retained as a nurse at an excellent institution.
So basically, you don't know, is what you're telling me. You don't know what her reputation for work ethic was. You don't know what her hours were. You don't know what her reputation in her work community was. You just don't know. Isn't that right?
Combined with the records and also the report from Dr. Resnick, who described her own view of herself as being a hard worker, I don't know further than that.
You were just listening in to the Lindsay Clancy trial. We're going to take a quick break, and we have so much more to unpack for the rest of this show. Stay with us here on Chicago Live. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Chicago Live. We are now going to be segueing into a financial segment. The national debt has now surpassed a record $40 trillion. We want to introduce now our next guest who is joining us from Bellet Capital, and that is Gerson Gibbs. Gerson, thank you so much for being here. Oh, I can't hear you. Can you unmute?
I'm not muted.
There we go. We hear you now. Thank you so much, Gerson. So tell us a little bit, when you saw that record debt has surpassed $40 trillion, what went through your mind?
A lot went through my mind. It just kind of verifies where we're at with regard to just the economy, that there are questions surrounding the economy and where we're at financially. It also, this bit telling our involvement in the Strait of Hormuz definitely has an impact on just the increased spending that the United States is having currently. And it just shows that it's at a very fast pace, and we should be recognizing that and looking out for just potential things that happen when things are moving that rapidly.
And tell us what exactly this debt is tied to. What put it over the edge of $40 trillion?
Well, it's always a combination of different things. So Social Security is one of those things. America is aging. So Social Security is one of the largest spends. Also, one of the bigger spends is defense. And we see what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz, and the United States' involvement in that. So things like that and factors like that will drive just our spending up, in turn leading to just an increased budget and deficit.
And this is already affecting Americans with increasing interest rates. Tell us a little bit, maybe some tips for folks at home on how to navigate this.
Well, it's just simply paying attention, reducing spending whenever you can. Just a lot of us just spend and we don't look at just the actual costs and the additional costs that are being tacked on to some of our purchases. Just paying a little more attention and being conscious of, that we're borrowing a lot, so the government has to pay that money back. Sometimes it happens by them raising taxes or raising interest rates. So just look out for those things, and if you do spot them, try to negotiate them a bit lower and work different terms with your creditor. And these are just things that you should be paying attention to, because the deficit is definitely going to impact these things.
Are there any tips that you suggest that folks at home really work on in terms of maybe saving money, especially as we approach fall and the holidays will be here before we know it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know in summertime, there's always a little bit of a uptick in spending with people being on vacation. It's just, sometimes we have to pay attention to what's happening in the economy. And right now, these are just indications of possibilities. Nothing's in stone, but just indications of possibilities. If we continue to spend at this level, we might not see it right away, but ultimately we'll see it in how much things will begin to cost. So I think that saving now would help us prepare in the event that some of those things occur.
And in terms of that $40 trillion debt, how does the government, aside from inflation and taxes, begin to chip away at it? And is it something that you see them getting ahead of, or is this a number that is going to keep growing?
Well, unfortunately, the only way to get ahead of it is by either increasing taxes or decreasing spending, right? And if we decrease spending, things like the war in the Strait of Hormuz probably will have a little bit less involvement. In addition, we don't want to hit Social Security, but that's also a possibility because that's a huge expenditure. It's just different ways that you can try to get around it, but some of the ways currently I don't foresee those happening in the very near future. But I do see us getting a hold of just our expenditures, especially with regard to defense.
And Gerson, can you share a little bit how this might be impacting investment accounts that people hold? I'm sure they are paying close attention to the stock market in recent days.
Well, in recent days, the stock market has, had a little bit of volatility, but it's been pretty stable. To date, the stock market has been performing fairly well. So I don't see a direct correlation. At times, I may say that the stock market it's probably right now, it's a good time to invest in it with the increases in values that we've been seeing in the last few weeks. But it is still something that you should pay attention to. There is going to be direct volatility on the markets because everything is kind of intertwined. The war, the increase in expenditures, the debt, everything is tied in. So paying attention to your accounts and looking at the performance of Wall Street. Right now, we have seen a little bit of stability, but we never know with all these expenditures how it might impact the country and in turn impact Wall Street. So just paying attention to your investments is also prime.
Thank you so much for joining us, Gerson. Any other tips that you would like to share with our viewers?
No, just continue to pay attention, continue to look at your accounts. If you are not one to pay attention to your expenditures, I think now it's the time to just start taking time and readjusting the way you're saving, readjusting the way you're investing, and just paying a little bit more attention.
All right. We appreciate your insight. Thank you so much, and have a great weekend.
You do the same. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All
Bye-bye.
right, stay with us here on Chicago Live. We are rounding out our first hour. When we come back, we have got another couple hours with you all. Stay with us. I'll leave you on this gorgeous shot here of Buckingham Fountain before we take a quick break.
All right, cool. Great. Awesome. Thanks.
Welcome back. We're taking a live look out at the beautiful Chicago skyline, but here's the deal. We're going to be bringing in JD in just a couple of minutes to talk about what kind of weather is heading our way. And let's be honest, we've had a lot of weather that has deeply impacted so many of us in our area. All of our friends, particularly in Northwest Indiana, have been greatly impacted by the storms that blew through here. Coming up, slowly approaching 2 weeks ago, lots of customers without power, but we're going to bring in Zach Dell, who is telling us about Base Power. He's the co-founder and CEO of Base Power. First of all, thank you for taking the time to join us. We appreciate you.
Thanks a lot for having me. Glad to be here.
So tell us a little bit about what Base Power is exactly.
Base is the most affordable home backup on the planet. So we provide a home backup battery that we install on your home. When the grid is up and running, we use that battery as a part of a distributed power plant to serve the electric grid. And when the grid goes down, the homeowner gets that battery to back up their home. The Base Core battery, which we design and manufacture ourselves here in Austin, will back up your home for on the order of 36 hours for the average home. So it's a large home battery, one of the largest home batteries on the market. And it also has a portable generator integration. So in the event of a long duration outage, if a tornado or a hurricane or anything very severe comes to town, and there's an outage that lasts 3, 4, even 5 days, you can actually plug in a portable generator into the battery, charge it back up to full charge, and keep your home up and running through that long duration outage. So we provide whole home backup with the lowest cost on the market. It's only on the order of $100 or less as a part of our founding member promotion. And then our members save 25% against the ComEd price to compare. So you're saving costs on your electricity bill, and you're getting all the benefits of home backup without that big price tag of a traditional home battery or home generator.
Zach, obviously, as I led into the segment, all of our friends in particularly Northwest Indiana, I mean, we're almost 2 weeks out of these storms and are still deeply impacted by what happened. We are talking thousands of people still without power. Am I to understand that this is not something that is currently available in Indiana at the moment?
It's not currently available in Indiana. Right now, we're focused on the Chicagoland area, so really the suburbs of Chicago, but we're doing everything we can to offer Base to more neighborhoods across America, and we hope to be in Indiana and other states nearby in the near future.
Can you talk about the experience that you've had around the Chicago area? Do you know where in our area you've been able to use it and some of the feedback that you've gotten?
Yeah, the feedback's been incredible. We've seen really just remarkable demand across the Chicagoland area. I think part of that is because of the turbulent summer we've had in terms of weather, and also just given the really strong value proposition of the product. I think a lot of folks have thought about a home backup solution before. They've looked for resiliency solutions. They've thought about buying batteries or generators, but the upfront price is too high. $10,000, $20,000, even $30,000 if you have a large home and need a lot of output power. And our solution is just dramatically more affordable. It's like I said, on the order of $100 to get the battery installed on your home, and then you're saving money every month on your electricity bill, and you've got on the order of 36 hours of backup with that generator plug that can get you through the long duration outage. And so frankly, we've seen even stronger growth, or stronger demand, I should say, in the ComEd part of the market compared to Texas, which is the market that we started in and have been growing in now for a couple of years. And so we're really excited to continue bringing more of these products to the Chicagoland area and eventually expand, outside of that, more so in the Midwest.
One of the big stories out of our storms in Indiana was the massive gas shortage, and obviously that having the ripple effect and the impact on the generators, of course, that end up running on gas. Can you talk? I'd assume that this sort of feels like it directly addresses that issue.
It does. Some of our customers, our members, they think of this kind of like an electric generator. So it serves the same purpose as a generator. It provides backup power, near instantaneous backup power, but there's no gas to fuel it. It runs entirely off the grid, and it's charged when demand is low on the grid and power prices are low. And there's no noise, no odor, and no maintenance. So it's really a easy kind of turnkey solution to provide all the benefits of home backup without the noise, the odor, the maintenance, the cost of a traditional home generator.
I mean, I know you mentioned that that you were not necessarily in a position to make this available for the people of Indiana yet, but I'd imagine this is of great interest to many people around, particularly, like I said, the area that we're talking about, Northwest Indiana. Are you guys in a position for that massive amount of demand? I'd imagine a lot of people are really want to make sure that they're not put in this position again.
Yeah, we are. And look, I mean, since the last time I was on the show, we announced a $1 billion Series D fundraise to further our investment in our supply chain, in our manufacturing, in our team, to bring Base and base core, our home battery, to every neighborhood in America, Indiana included. And we're looking to partner with utilities all across the country. As you know, some parts of the market, like ComEd territory in the Chicagoland area, are a competitive energy market. And so it's a bit easier or faster for us to go into those markets without a partnership with the utility. Other parts of the market, like Indiana, are regulated utility markets. And in those parts of the market, we have to actually work directly with the utility and partner with them. Now, we do this. It's a huge part of our business. We have 7 utility partnerships that we've announced. We'll be announcing a couple more across the country between now and the end of the year. So we're looking for utility partners to work with to bring this resiliency solution to the rest of the country. And we're really excited to do that. And this $1 billion Series D really allows us to scale our manufacturing, scale our team, scale our operations and our kind of logistics capabilities so that we can serve more of America on our journey to become, America's power company, which is really our ambition.
Well, I was going to add the other sort of power companies around the area, around the country. What sort of reaction are you getting from them?
Well, it's a competitive market. And I think, when we show up and we bring a value proposition to consumers, it's really attractive and the consumers come our way. It's going to bring the best out of the competition. And I think that's what free markets are all about. And, competition leads to lower prices and better services for customers. So we like competition. We welcome it. And, we're here to compete with kind of the legacy incumbents. And, if we can provide a better service for our customers at more attractive prices, we deserve to win share of the market. And if we can't, we don't.
Listen, I'm not. We're a Chicago Bears station, all right. It'd be great if it were a Chicago Bear that had some sort of small part in this. But I understand that there is a legendary Houston Texan that played a part in this. Is that accurate?
It's funny you say that. Let's keep the Chicago focus. I'm excited to share that we actually have a Chicago legend who I think you'll be quite excited about that we'll be announcing a partnership with soon. So stay tuned for that. Yes, we work with some Texas sports legends, but we're also gearing up with in a partnership with a Chicago sports legend, which I think you and some of your viewers will be very excited about. So stay tuned for that in the coming weeks.
Okay, all right. You can't like just drop that on us and then say stay tuned. This isn't the show where we stay tuned. This is the show where we say the things that other people have been stay tuned for. This is just, dude, here's the deal. I'm going to give you a dramatic one shot. Ready to go? Boom. Now's the time to say it.
Good things come to those who wait, my friend.
Listen, I'm not a very patient person, man, and now you're teasing us. The Chicago legend, that's the thing is that, we don't have enough room on Mount Rushmore for our Chicago legends. Listen, there are a lot of people, like I said, who say, this sounds fantastic, like sold, tell me more. For people that for whom, price may be an issue. We're constantly talking about power bills in and around our area. What kind of reassurance can you give people that say, listen, financial responsibilities are a massive responsibility for us, and that's going to be a factor as to whether or not this is going to work for me or not?
It's a great question. And our mission as a company is to provide the most affordable and reliable power on the market. So it's worth explaining. The reason our product is so affordable is because our business model is different. We don't sell batteries, we sell electricity. And when you sign up with Base, you get the battery installed on your home. When it's not being used by your home, we're using it as a wholesale power asset to serve the grid. And we monetize it in that way. We don't monetize it by selling it to you at a high upfront cost. And as a result, we're able to give you that benefit of home backup for a fraction of the cost. And we're also able to help you save money on your monthly electricity rate. So we know that affordability, especially when it comes to electricity, is top of mind for consumers today. And we've oriented the whole company and the whole product around cost savings and really a cost-saving, ROI-based value proposition. So it's the most affordable home backup on the planet. And we've got, with it, the best electricity rates in the market. And the reason is because we're vertically integrated, and that comes back to our factory and our manufacturing and the 600-person team we have down here in Austin. And the last thing I'll say about affordability is we're really excited to have a founding member discount in the Chicagoland area, and we still have a couple of them available. So if you go sign up now at basepowercompany.com, you can claim that founding member discount and save significant money up front while you continue to save on your monthly electricity bills over the next number of years.
Zach, I asked this question in the most respectful way possible. How old are you, sir?
I'm 29.
20. I was not helping change the power grid of America whenever I was 29 years old. Where did this begin? What was step number one, and how did you get to this point?
Well, first of all, I've got an unbelievable team of engineers, operators, creatives that work with me every day to bring this vision to life. And like I said, there's 600 of us down here in Austin. I've got an unbelievable co-founder and COO of the company, and Justin Lopez. I've got an insanely talented leadership team of folks from companies like Tesla and SpaceX and Anduril. And so I'm really lucky to be surrounded by incredibly capable leaders. But look, I spend my life wanting to solve big, hard problems in the world and looking at opportunities to do that with some of the most talented engineers that I can find, and Base really is that opportunity for me. So, we're 3 years into the company. We've made significant progress thus far, but we're just getting started. I mean, our ambition, like I said, is to build America's power company and bring the most affordable and reliable power to every neighborhood in America.
Zach, as you can see, if you look at the box below me right now, it is a beautiful day here in Chicago. But if there's one thing we know about Chicago weather is that every beautiful day we're always on eggshells waiting on that next thing to happen. And sometimes the beautiful days, the gorgeous days, those are the days to start worrying about the power. Those are the ones, because if you're in the middle of a storm, you don't want to be worrying about your generator. If you're in the middle of a storm, you don't want to be worrying about your power. And if you've lost power, that's a bad time to start worrying about your power. So for the people that are looking outside and going, skies are blue, things are great, what are we talking about this for? It feels like a good time to maybe start having that. I mean, this feels like the good time to be doing it.
Look, I think you can never. It's hard to put a price on peace of mind, right? And we try to lead with this cost-saving value proposition. And so the way we think about this is it should be an economic no-brainer, right? You save money on your monthly power bills, and you pay on the order of $100 or less to get the benefit of home backup and that peace of mind knowing that when the storm comes, your lights are going to stay on, and over the course of many years, your bills are going to stay low. And whether it's sunny skies or cloudy, either way, that value prop of affordable, reliable electricity is true and is really what's most important to our team and to our members.
Listen, take a look at that, my friend. We have got sunny skies here in Chicago. It is a beautiful day here. But listen, I know that you have probably spoken with the people of Chicago. I know that you have probably had a lot of interaction with the people of Chicago. And I'm sure you've got customers all over the place. But the people of Chicago will let you know if something's not working out. They're going to let you know if something's not. Can you just talk about what your interaction with the people of Chicago and around our Chicago area? Because listen, we're going to give anything a shot. But if it ain't working, my friend, we will let you know loud and clear.
Absolutely. And we take that feedback from our members incredibly seriously. And at the end of the day, if we're not able to make our members happy and serve their needs and provide them with the most affordable and reliable power on the planet, we've not done our job. And so you'll find that our team is incredibly responsive to feedback from our members, from prospective members. If you go to basepowercompany.com and you sign up and you talk to one of our energy advisors, they'll be patient, they'll answer your questions, they'll listen to you. If you go online, if you look at our Google reviews and our Reddit threads, there's countless examples of our team jumping in to solve problems for our members when they have them, because we want to build America's first beloved power company. We feel like there's really not a beloved brand in electricity and energy, and we think we can serve that gap. We can fill that void. And so we're really member obsessed. We're customer obsessed. And so we're excited to get the feedback from Chicagoans and figure out how we can incrementally every day get a little bit better so we can continue to serve their needs as we scale in the area.
Zach Dell, we really do appreciate you, my friend. This is a valuable piece of information and a valuable tool, and I am only marginally annoyed that you're 29 years old. So best of luck to you, my friend. And I'm sure no, please.
If it makes you feel any better, I turned 30 on Sunday, so.
Honestly, doesn't make me feel any better at all. Zach Dell, my friend, good to see you, and we'll chat soon, okay?
Thanks a lot. Great to catch up.
To you. Everyone says happy birthday here on the show, except me, because I'm only marginally annoyed. All right, man. Good to see you.
All right. Take care. Yeah.
All right, guys, much more to come here on Chicago Live. Listen, we have got a lot of amazing things coming up on the show. Like I said, we are going to take a look at the weather. Right now, it is blue skies, but is this something we need to be worried about? Is anything on the horizon? The man in the building that knows, JD, will be in here in just a moment to give us all the answers. We'll tell you more when Chicago Live rolls on. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Chicago Live. Take a live look over that beautiful skyline. We were just talking about the continued impact over those storms and the way people are still feeling it. And there are a lot of people attempting to make a difference. I am your host, Jake Hamilton. Casey Cronus will be back in just a moment. We are going to bring in, we've got a really fascinating guest coming up here. And this is really, I'm very excited that I get to be the one to have this conversation. So Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, friend of the show, is calling for a more scientific approach to investigating unidentified anomalous phenomenon, UAP. We are going to bring him into the show to talk more about that. Avi, I'm so excited I get to be the one to have this conversation. Thank you for taking the time, sir. Good to see you. So, first of all, let people know a little bit about what the approach is in terms of investigating these things right now, and what is it that you're calling for to be different?
Yeah, so it's an exciting time because for the first time, the U.S. government asked for scientists to advise how to proceed and figure out the nature of UAP. And obviously, these anomalous phenomena are a mixed bag. Some of them might be natural. For example, one can think of atmospheric phenomena, meteors, or other phenomena that take place in the atmosphere, but there is also the possibility of human-made objects that we are not familiar with. It could be black projects, either by the US or by adversarial nations. And finally, there is this remote possibility that we might be witnessing alien technology from outside of this world. And so in order to figure out what we're dealing with, and of course, if it's human-made and we are not aware of it, it could be a national security threat. In order to figure it out, we need the high-quality data. So the approach, the scientific approach, is to say, let's look into the data that is available, try to analyze it, figure out what it means. And if it's not sufficient, as often the case, if we don't have enough information, we should get new data by placing sensors in the right places and eventually figuring it out like a detective story. And the importance of that is, even if you hold the down-to-earth approach and say if these are technological objects that we don't understand, that they are human-made, even in that case, it's of major significance because we will help the Pentagon and the intelligence community fulfill their duties. And that is the reason I agreed very happily to chair the UAP Science Advisory Council to the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the White House, the FBI, the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office in the Pentagon. And we are working together in partnership. And so far, we asked for some additional information. And if it's not good enough, we will work together to have some experiments, some sensors being placed in the right locations and getting new data, because we can go back in time and visit those incidents from the past that we don't have enough data on. And I can mention one specific type of unidentified phenomena. These are orbs that were recently reported in recent years. They were also reported in 1949 near Los Alamos. And so the more recent orbs, they move in formation sometimes together. They also split into smaller orbs, and they don't share characteristics of known military technologies. The first thing that comes to mind is drones, because we know that swarms of drones are operated, but some of these orbs are moving relatively fast, at up to 1.7 times the speed of sound. We don't know of drones that can do that, and they last for hours, so they cannot be military flares, these orbs. So there are some puzzles about the reported phenomena, and we hope to figure them out in the scientific way.
You know, I never thought that we would get to talk about Shakespeare and UAPs in the same sort of conversation. But, you know, the reason that we have sort of that lower third, that CG on the bottom, is sort of this conversation. You are paraphrasing, of course, Hamlet, that conversation of to shoot or not shoot a UAP. I would have leaned toward not shoot, but I mean, am I wrong in that regard? I mean, is it more complicated than that?
Well, to shoot or not to shoot, that is the question. For example, in 2023, we recognized a Chinese spy balloon, and the president of the United States, Joe Biden, ordered to shoot it down. Because when you have a stranger invading your backyard with espionage skills, you know, it's inappropriate for them to do it, for China to do it, and therefore the U.S. has all the legitimacy to shoot it down. That's what happened with the Chinese spy balloon. And so the fundamental question is, are these objects that we are thinking about manufactured by adversarial nations? And if they are, and they are hovering over strategic assets, we have all the right to shoot them down, just like having a stranger in your backyard with a bad intent. But the key is really the intent or the context for these objects to be there. If we don't know the context, it doesn't seem like these are human-made technologies. We should be careful about it, because if there is some intelligence to these entities and they are far more sophisticated than we are, then it will not be wise of us to shoot our arrows at something that is completely, you know, benign before we start an aggressive move. And we should be more calculated and figure out the intent, the purpose, the capabilities of the visitor to our backyard before engaging in an aggressive act of shooting it down. But the one benefit of shooting something down, if it so happens, as it did in the case of the Chinese spy balloon, is that we can examine the materials if it falls down. It will also indicate that we're dealing with technologies that are susceptible to weaponry that we currently possess. So these are probably not very sophisticated gadgets out there if we can shoot them down. I should also say that in terms of very advanced technologies, the most advanced that humans ever imagined are warp drives. These are bubbles of distorted space-time that mathematically are possible based on Einstein's theory of gravity. And in a recent paper just last week, I showed with a colleague of mine, Sean Fell, that in fact these would glow as they move through the atmosphere, because even though there are distortions of space-time, they would move the air around, they would disturb the air, and the flow of air would be such that there will be a shock wave generated in the air that will glow very brightly. So if we have warp bubbles passing through the atmosphere, and they would definitely produce an orb that is very bright. In fact, a fireball if they move really fast. But if they move slow, they might appear as orbs. And so we just don't know what these orbs are until we get better data. And that's the key. But that's also good news, because we might be able to resolve this. I mean, many people bring up the historical committees that were established to resolve UAPs, unidentified objects, and back then they were called UFOs, and they were not very successful. And I say, you know, we now have much better sensors, we can get better data, we have also AI to assist us in the analysis, and so the future could be better than the past. So let's go ahead and try to figure it out. And, you know, strategically speaking, I'm most curious about the testimonies that were given by people like David Grush and other former employees by the US government who claim that there is material from crash sites of definitely objects that were not manufactured by humans, and in principle it's possible to see those materials, and that of course will settle the issue. We don't need to do more experiments if the government already has some materials from crash sites of non-human made technologies. But before I see that, I don't know whether to trust these stories. It's all about the evidence. So obviously that will be a shortcut to get to the answer, and I'm very intrigued by these testimonies. I hope that the whistleblowers will get full immunity. They will get they already have non-disclosure agreement being waived by the deputy to the director of national intelligence, hopefully they will have all the legal assurances that they need, these whistleblowers, to guide us, to perhaps even give us a guided tour to those places where materials or even spacecraft are being housed, if they are out there. This would be the easiest way to get to the answer, are we being visited? But in the absence of such direct evidence, we have to do the hard work of analyzing past videos, images, or trying to get new data.
Abby, we only have just a couple of minutes left. Listen, I don't mean to shake my fist at the sky and say what was wrong with the term UFO, but that's the term I grew up with. I understand that we've got to sort of change the terminology. Did the change in terminology come because people began to own? I mean, obviously UAP can mean a lot of different things, right? Did we have to change the terminology because people began to associate the term UFO with aliens?
Well, the scientific reason for changing it to UAP is that some of these objects go from air to water, and some go out to space. So these are transmedia kind of objects. So they call it phenomena, anomalous phenomena, not necessarily in the air. Unidentified, obviously, for the reason we don't know what they are. But there was also a stigma assigned to UFOs, and part of the stigma was actually initiated by government in previous decades. They did not want the public to discuss this subject because, it could be adversarial nations, or it could be also black projects developed within the US military. So they didn't want the public to take it seriously if they see something unusual, including the B-2 bombers. So over the years, there was a stigma attached to discussing them. But as far as I can see, this is a scientific matter, and in fact it's in service of the public, in service of the government, to figure out what these things are. If it's adversarial nations, we should know about it and protect against it.
It is a fascinating conversation, and I always enjoy whenever we get to have it. Avi Loeb, always a pleasure, sir. Thank you for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you. All right, guys, much more to come here on Chicago Live. Listen, we're going to find out just what is going on with the weather. As you can tell, take a look. It is a beautiful sky out there, but is it going to remain beautiful, blue, all the boats? I need a friend with a boat. If you have a boat, call me and Casey Cronus. We want to be your friend. But we have much more to come here on Chicago Live. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Hey, could you say your first and last name for me?
Can you repeat that one more time?
Can you say your full name?
Deandra Gathings.
Welcome back to Chicago Live. As we have been covering over the last several weeks, since those tornadoes swept through the area just last Tuesday, so over a week and a half now, there are still thousands of customers without power, particularly in Northwest Indiana. Our next guest is doing something really great for these folks who live there who are without power. We want to introduce now Deandra Gathings, who is joining us from Rinse Cycle Valet Laundry. Let me bring Deandra in here. Hi, Deandra. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, how everybody's doing?
Oh, thank you so much for being here. So please tell us a little bit about the amazing offering that you have made to residents in Northwest Indiana.
Yeah, so a couple days ago, I already have a service here in Chicago where I do laundry service. And like I said, a few days ago, I realized that Northwest Indiana and Gary did not have any access to any type of power. And I was like, what is it that I can do to be able to help them in an underserved area? And what it was actually the service that I already provide here in Chicago. So I was like, I have to do this. I don't know where I'm going to do. I don't know the chain of command. I don't have the resources, but I knew that this was something I was called to do. So I was like, I have to offer them some type of service and some type of relief during this time. And that was offering a free laundry service, which is wash, dry, fold, and pick up. So I've been in contact with the people in the city to see if I can get a host, somebody to host a hub so that they're able to drop off their clothes at this hub. I could pick up from there, bring back to Chicago. The funny thing is that I didn't even plan for it to even get this big. I just made this post and I knew if it could only help 5 or 10 families, that was well worth it for me. But the amount of people that have supported, have came in, that have sent DMs and messages and emails have been so overwhelming, but in an amazing, amazing way.
And tell us a little bit more about that reception, what you have heard from people. This is such a kind thing that you are doing in a time of need.
For one, like I said, I didn't even expect so many people to say anything because I've been running my laundry service from my home. So that means I only have one washer, one dryer, and I've been doing this for almost a year. So I've been having, the churches have reached out, ChicagoLIVE Center has reached out. People have been donating to the GoFundMe account because I didn't even have one because I was going to use all of my money or the money that I had to be able to pay for the laundry detergent, the supplies, and just getting back and forth from Gary to Chicago. But people have been sending like just donations all day. People have been asking for an Amazon wish list so that they're able to provide, even if they can't do the cash or whatever that might be, they're willing to send laundry supplies. I've also sent my address to some people that are sending, that are couponers. And they're like, I have plenty of laundry. I'm going to send as many supplies that I have just so that you're able to do this.
It is so wonderful what you are doing. Tell us how people can take advantage of this service. I know that you said you've been inundated and swamped with this, and with just one washer and dryer, you are going to be really busy over this weekend.
Yes, so I am hoping that there are some laundromats here in Chicago that can reach out to me because I would love to take on just at least one laundromat center for a day or weekend just to be able to process the amount of people that need this assistance. So if I can get someone in Chicago or a couple laundromats that's willing to take this on with me, that will be tremendously, because I can't do it with one washer and one dryer. Even though I'm in the process, hopefully, to get my own laundry space so that I can do this just for the clients of Chicago or anywhere else. Also, they can go to the GoFundMe account. It is in the link in my bio on my TikTok, which is under my business name, Rinse Cycle Valet. They can also go to my Amazon link that is also in all my bios from Facebook to Instagram and TikTok. There is a Amazon wish list that you guys can donate as many laundry supplies that you guys can, because that would definitely benefit. If there's anybody with box trucks or any larger vehicles that can get the laundry from Gary to Chicago, that will help as well.
And tell us specifically what areas you are helping out. Is it South Chicago to Gary?
So right now, I've always been servicing Chicago. I've been predominantly in the Auburn-Gresham area, South Shore, Inglewood, things of that sort, even before this happened. So right now, I am looking at Gary, but also Hammond, Maryville, Cherville, all of those nearby cities that have been affected by the storms. So yes.
Well, you are an angel for so many of these people who are still in the dark. Did you by chance lose power last week?
So, not unfortunately, but in a good way, I have not had any issues with the power where I live in Chicago.
Good.
I had maybe an outage for like 10 minutes and it was back up. So we're good.
Good. And tell us a little bit about how you got your start opening up this business.
It was one of those things. I am a serial entrepreneur. I've always been trying to find different ways to start a business because that's just who I am. And a lot of businesses just didn't really work out for me. And this one was one where I was like, I'm going to give myself 6 months to almost a year to figure out what it is that I want to do, and whatever the item or business is going to be is going to come to me. So when this business came up, it was really like, okay, a laundromat is passive income. But I was like, right now, is too much money for me to be able to afford to start running. I said, what else can I do that I know that is recession proof? Is doing laundry. And I spent over 15 years perfecting folding and perfecting laundry, which is what I also do on TikTok. I do teach about laundry, different laundry hacks. And so when I realized this was something I was really good at, I was like, I'm going to take this on full force. And I've been booked since I started last November.
And what are your tips for expert folding? If you could, please share for us who are listening.
It's taking your time, looking at the creases of the apparel, the jeans, and just finding something that makes your client, when they open up that bag, it's a wow factor for them. Every time my clients open up, they said the first thing they love is the smell and the way that their clothes fit in a drawer, that they're able to fit more clothes in their drawers. But I will have to say, take your time, find those creases in those clothes, and I promise you, you're going to get the best folds.
And Deandra, what's your favorite laundry scent?
Right now, it has to be the Downy Ocean Breeze.
Oh,
I love that, but
good.
I am so big with focusing more so on pH levels when it comes to laundry, so not just washing the way everyone does. So there's a little bit of science to what I do when it comes to washing clothes.
I've been using
every time.
Yeah, I've been using one with bergamot lately, and it is really it just leaves you with a really nice smell.
You don't have to have a loud scent to actually make your clothes smell good. It's just that small little scent will do it.
Oh, well, Deandra, thank you so much for what you're doing to help. If people want to learn more about your business, what should they do?
You should go to either my TikTok account, because there are links there, my Facebook and my Instagram at Rinse Cycle Valet. Everything is on there, and the website is rinsecyclevalet.com.
All right, Deandra, thank you so much. We so appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Thank you all so much.
All right, thank you. All right, stay with us here on Chicago Live. We do have Deandra's handle there on the bottom of your screen, Rinse Cycle Valet. We are going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we have a very special guest joining us. His daughter passed away in 2023 after complications from COVID-19. Tomorrow, a ribbon cutting will be held in her memory as her family gets ready to open Caitlin's Kitchen. She was a passionate teacher, and that will be displayed in this amazing kitchen that will be opening tomorrow for students. Stay with us here on Chicago Live. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Chicago Live. Our next guest will be joining us to preview a very special ribbon cutting that will be taking place tomorrow. His daughter passed away several years ago after complications from COVID-19. And tomorrow he will celebrate the opening of Caitlin's Kitchen. We want to introduce now Michael Schomburger. Michael, thank you so much for joining us.
And also just wanted to give you a big thank you. You were the only one who covered this story 3 years ago when Caitlin passed away, which my family and I really appreciate. And now you wanting to circle back and continue this journey and see the positive outcome we've been able to build from Caitlin's passing is very much touching to our hearts. So just thank you for that.
Oh, Michael, thank you so much. And thank you for taking the time to join us here on this Friday afternoon. Your daughter touched so many lives. She was a second grade teacher that was beloved. First, I just want you to share a little bit more about Caitlin and what she was like.
Definitely. Thank you. Yeah, you know, every parent says their kid is wonderful, but she really was special. She had just this light that never went out. She saw the good in everybody, which she certainly didn't get from me. She was just a ball of energy and was really committed to wanting to help children learn and help them, you know, have a good experience, not just in the classroom, but good experiential learning where they can be in their environment and feel confident that they can succeed at whatever they want to succeed at. And she just was just a dynamo. Like when she was working, she worked up in Waukegan at Oakdale Elementary. She was the first one in every day, making sure she was prepped and ready to go. She was the last one to leave, wanted to make sure she was, you know, good for the next day. And just a very warm, caring, passionate person with her students, her family, and her friends. It was just a true light and inspiration to everybody that connected with her.
It sounds like it, and it sounds like she had such an incredible connection with her students. I want you to share with our viewers a little bit more about her passion for teaching kids about healthy food and equal access to food.
Absolutely. So, you know, she was up in Waukegan, and not everybody has equal access to food or be able to eat healthy. And her passion was to really make sure that her students knew where they could get healthy food and how they could make themselves healthy food and how easy it was to be able to do that. You know, she wasn't about preaching. She wasn't about you have to work out every day like I do or eat what I eat, but it was about, hey, let's think about what's best for you. What do you like to eat? How can we incorporate some better foods into your world and take little steps to be able to do it? It wasn't a huge transformation, but it was, hey, let's talk about why being healthy is important, what you can do to make sure you're healthy, and what are the benefits you're going to get from eating healthier and ensuring, you know, brain power, energy to do other the things you like to do. So it was very much a passion of hers, but her kids really enjoyed it because, again, she wasn't preaching. She was trying to help them and guide them to be better and to feel better.
And Michael, tell us a little bit about how Caitlin's Kitchen took shape. It opens officially tomorrow with a really special ribbon cutting.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. So her principal at Oakdale Elementary, Catalina Quinones Nelson, was very much a mentor to Caitlin. And again, Caitlin, just everybody that she touched was very connected to her. And Catalina was very much inspired by Caitlin and her energy and her passion. And because, you know, her passion was cut too short, Catalina wanted to really ensure that Caitlin's legacy could live on, and she was looking for a way to honor her. So initially, we were going to build a greenhouse at Oakdale Elementary, which fit in really nicely with Caitlin's vision and be able to help the kids understand, you know, botany and how to be able to grow their food. Ran into some obstacles in doing that, and we realized down the street about 10 minutes is John Lewis Middle School. And right now, due to their botany teacher, Brian Green, they have created an amazing greenhouse and teaching farm. They actually grow now 41 different crops. They have this amazing farm. And they've been doing some light cooking within the greenhouse over the past few years. And Mr. Green had been wanting to elevate the game and help the kids learn how to cook and take the wonderful food that they have and create this true farm-to-table experience. So when we heard this, my family and I met with Mr. Green, and we said, you know what, this would be a great opportunity to put all of Caitlin's love and passion into what they're doing. So we've been fundraising to build a kitchen right next to their greenhouse and teaching farm. So it's this big complex. In the back, it's a freestanding building, 1,500 square feet, that now is a full functioning kitchen where the kids can pick the crops, they can take it to the kitchen, and they can learn how to cook. We can bring chefs in to teach them. Mr. Green teaches them, and now it's an opportunity to A, use the food they're growing, B, learn how to use those skills, and C, take it home and be able to use it for their family. So it's just it's a really exciting. We think this might be the only school in the country that has this true farm-to-table experience with this amazing kitchen.
And it's so wonderful that these kids are going to get that experience at such a young age, and to really have something tangible that they can do, instead of just learning about it in the classroom, but actually see where their food comes from. Michael, have you gotten a chance to see it yet? I know the official ribbon cutting is tomorrow. Will tomorrow be the first time you see it, or have you gotten a sneak peek?
I wish I had the patience to wait until tomorrow for the grand opening, Casey. I've been sneaking up there, because I don't want to micromanage, but I wanted to make sure it was all being done properly. So I was there this morning as we're putting the finishing touches on it, and it looks amazing. I have not seen the kids in action yet, but they're just, the appliances were delivered this morning. Mariani Landscaping has been an amazing partner who's donated their time and resources. They just sodded the whole front yard, so that all is done. They planted some trees that we got from Rolling Hills Nursery, so it all came together. The finishing touches, to your point though, will be a surprise to me tomorrow, but I was there this morning, and it looks just amazing. And we're excited to, tomorrow's gonna be a dedication. We'll have some people speaking, and then we'll do a ribbon cutting. And then what's wonderful is the students, there's some student ambassadors, some 8th graders who are leaders in the school, are gonna be putting on a cooking demonstration in the kitchen. And then there'll be tours of the greenhouse and teaching farm. So they'll see everything in action, and putting it all together is just gonna be amazing.
And I know the community is welcome to attend tomorrow. Give us some details for viewers at home. We know it will be taking place in Waukegan, but if someone feels strongly that they want to be part of this too, give us a couple of the details for tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you so much for asking. Again, Caitlin was passionate just not about her students, but about the Waukegan community. So this kitchen really is for the community as well. We want adults to be able to use it at nighttime and on the weekends to learn how to cook, or folks can utilize it for fundraisers. So we invite everybody down. It's at John Lewis Middle School, which is 600 South Lewis Avenue in Waukegan. And the dedication and ribbon cutting is at 10 a.m. It's in the back of the school. Can't miss it if you walk around back. And the dedication should be about a half hour, 40 minutes. After that, until 2 p.m., we'll have an open house. So if you can't make the dedication anytime until 2 p.m., you can stop on by, tour the kitchen, tour the greenhouse, tour the teaching farm, and just see all the good that the kids are doing and what they can learn from that. And by the way, if folks are inspired by what they see, we are still trying to fundraise for equipment and for some food. So if you were to search Caitlin's Kitchen GoFundMe, that will pop up as a link, or folks could send checks. A lot of people are doing that too, to the school. So payable to John Lewis Middle School, care of Brian Green, who's the botany head. And then it's again 600 South Lewis Avenue in Waukegan, 60085.
And Michael, what have you heard so far? If you've been able to connect with any of those students or maybe the ambassadors, are they excited to have this new resource?
Amazingly excited. What's very interesting is Caitlin's 2nd grade class, when she passed away 3 years ago, are now in 6th grade. So many will be coming to John Lewis. And at the end of last school year, her 2nd grade class actually put on a little presentation for my family and I, and a lot of the community, where they read poems that they wrote to Caitlin and talked about experiences that they had with Caitlin. And we told them about the kitchen, and just to see their eyes light up and to see their excitement and to know they were going to go and be able to experience that kitchen and to be able to utilize it was awesome. And the kids that are already there are so excited because, they've been toying with this idea with Mr. Green for quite some time. So to see it come to fruition, they were really, really excited. The only folks that weren't excited were the 8th graders from last year or previous years who aren't able to experience this, who are extremely jealous, but they're showing up tomorrow.
They missed it. Yes, they'll still be part of it. They'll still be part of it in a wonderful way. Michael, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us and to share about this amazing legacy for your daughter.
You bet. And thank you again for all your support, Casey. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, Michael. Come back anytime, and we can't wait to see it tomorrow at the ribbon cutting.
Great. Yeah, thank you for being there. Appreciate that.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, stay with us here on Chicago Live. We are going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. Thank you. Welcome back to Chicago Live. We have our colleague Lauren Scafidi, who is joining us here in the studio to talk a little bit about all of those weather headlines and news headlines that will be coming up in her show later today at 5 o'clock. Hey, Lauren, we're just getting the hang of things here in this new studio, but we've got it covered now. We got you here.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I can tell you what we've got cooking up for the 5 o'clock show. You know, it's always a busy day. I feel like I say that every single time I'm joining you, Casey, but truly, we've got our reporters everywhere.
It always is a busy day, and today's Friday. People are excited for the weekend. Lots going on this weekend, as there always is, but a lot going on today, too, of course, as we continue to cover the outages in Northwest Indiana and how people are trying to help.
And we actually have two reporters covering stories there. Let's start with Brett Bagansky. He's covering day 10 of no power. Casey, I mean, these storms hit August 11th. That was last Tuesday. So I just feel so badly for these people who are out of groceries, who are not having a place to stay, who are looking for just their next hot meal.
I know.
It's truly heartbreaking.
And we talked about this the other day, but just not having power for a couple days, 3 days, that's brutal. To not have power for over a week is just heartbreaking to think about people who have lost the food in their fridge. We just had a guest on who is offering free laundry services to people who live in Gary. And to think, you know, you can't do laundry. You can't wake up and put on the lights to get ready for the day. There are just so many things that we take for granted when it comes to having electricity.
I was thinking about this as I was just sitting at my desk over there, as I have my phone plugged in. Where do you put your phone?
Exactly.
You know, stuff like that. So Brett is going to be talking to people over there about what's going on. Tia is also covering a story. She's talking to a renter who had their whole entire basement flooded because of all this. So she's getting their story. And separate of all of that, we're also talking about NIPSCO now facing a class action lawsuit.
This is the big one.
All of the details of that. They say that, you know, the main cause of the power outages is because of downed trees and vegetation. NIPSCO is supposed to clear that kind of stuff. So we've got all of the details of that lawsuit coming up in our evening shows. Let's also talk about the story that Leslie is covering. Casey, do you remember the story out of Edgewater, that fire that happened at the end of June?
Yes.
We know that somebody jumped out of a window there to get out of that fire. There's a huge update today. I was just looking at some of the photos and security that we now have access to, so I don't want to give away too much. Sure. Huge update coming this evening in that story. So Leslie's going to be covering that. We can also tell you that train traffic is moving again in Lake Forest. This is something that we first covered on the Loop as breaking news. Traffic was not moving in Lake Forest there because of the train hitting a car. And we know that a man is seriously hurt now. Traffic is moving again, and we're learning a little bit more about exactly what happened, what investigators are looking into now that we have a little bit clearer picture. So we'll bring you that update as well. Coming up at 5 o'clock, we also have a live interview. We're going to be talking about flock cameras now that
big topic.
Now that they're approved in Will County. That was the big update this week. So we're just talking about security there. We'll have an expert on, and we do have some good things coming up. We have some positive news. The Sister Jean statue was just unveiled at Loyola. So we've got our first look at that. That ceremony happened at 1 o'clock today. And this one's not in California, or excuse me, this one's not in Illinois, but in California, there was a runaway bull. So Casey, I'll just tell you.
Oh my gosh.
It was like a story out of the wild, wild west. They called in a wrangler, an expert.
A true rancher.
Yes, seriously.
Oh my goodness.
Truck.
Yeah.
And wrangle this bull that was just loose in California. So a lot of things coming up a little bit later today.
Well, Lauren, thank you so much for joining me here in the news studio. We so appreciate it. We are going to take a quick break here, and when we come back, we've got still one more hour together. You'll hear the latest on the weather coming up in just a couple of minutes.
7:05 now on a Friday afternoon. Hello, good to see you. Meteorologist J.D. Rudd here for Chicago Live. We're going to talk some weather this time around, and a lot of things happening in the world of weather over the past handful of minutes. National Weather Service issuing a couple of new warnings, new watch box coming out as well. So let's talk about that and see what exactly it is we've got going on right now. This is the radar picture. There's been a stubborn storm cell near DeKalb, just in the northern portion of DeKalb County. That storm has been producing some larger size hail. There's been some concern here around some quarter to maybe ping pong ball size hail in that thunderstorm cell. So that's why the warning exists for this storm. It's kind of crossing its way over now. Let's see if we can get the newest bit of information up on that warning, which just came out a couple of moments ago, which I believe goes until 4, yes, for portions of Kane County. So again, a new severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Kane County, sections of DeKalb County as well until 4 o'clock here this afternoon. The biggest concern is going to be for some larger hail. Might also find some gusty wind in this storm. It could be something around 50, 60 miles per hour. I was checking off air with the National Weather Service, and it looks like they haven't seen too many confirmed reports of that yet, but certainly some SLCs, some scary looking clouds being seen in this storm as it works its way through. You also no doubt see that broader yellow box that has showed up there. That's a severe thunderstorm watch, which will now go until 10 o'clock tonight. More about that here in just a moment. Let's see if we can get this to play nicely and show you what's actually happening with the threat of severe weather for today, which was upgraded late last night to a level 2 risk of severe weather. So we have that yellow colored area for most of us. Again, a 2 out of 5 for a risk of severe thunderstorms today. This means a slightly higher chance of getting some storms that produce some quarter-size hail and some gusty wind. Rotation, it's not out of the question we see something rotational. The overall threat for tornadoes is not super high, but still this time of year we never want to say that it is 0. Mentioned that big yellow box, severe thunderstorm watch until 10 p.m. and includes pretty much all of southern Wisconsin and the greater known universe of Illinois here, it seems. It includes all of our Illinois counties and a good chunk of our Indiana counties as well. Again, a watch means to watch out. Conditions are favorable for development. Doesn't guarantee you're going to see a severe thunderstorm, but clearly we have that one cell ongoing right now that has been a little bit on the ornery side. Let's actually flip the radar picture over here, and I want to kind of analyze that storm a little bit more in detail. Let's see if we can get rid of some of the excess stuff on here in terms of the active advisories. This is the cell in question. It's that one that's rolling its way out of DeKalb County right now. Let's try to zoom back in on that a little bit. You can see it there near Burlington, just east of Sycamore. Just based on the returns on radar alone, this cell for sure has got a lot of rainfall with it. This one's going to be dumping buckets of rain. I'm going to take the lightning icons off for a second, and let's see if we can analyze this in more detail to take a look at what may be happening with the actual hail part of this. So I'm going to take a look and see what our system is seeing for potential hail inside of this storm. That little cell there of the purplish colors, that's our system indicating there may be some hailstones near 1 inch in size. National Weather Service was concerned with some hailstones slightly larger than that, maybe on the order of some ping pong balls in some cases. So think about this for a second. A large chunk of ice about the size of a ping pong ball, and then multiples of those dropping from the sky. That can get the attention of some very quickly. And at the same time, this is going to be all wrapped up inside of some rain here. And you see the rating there for rain, that's pretty close to 60. That tells us there's some torrential rainfall in there. Likely the reflectivity also being a little bit contaminated by the hail that's inside of the storm. Nevertheless, this is going to produce a good amount of thunder and lightning, some hailstones, and some torrential downpours. Let's take a look at the wind part of Doppler radar. A couple different products that we have. I don't see anything that stands out in terms of rotational wind, but you see that brighter shade of green over Sycamore? Let's sample that from the radar really quickly and see what the radar is guesstimating here. And this is higher aloft in the sky. It's pinpointing around 35, 37 miles per hour. Again, that doesn't mean that's what this storm is doing at the surface. The wind gusts could be a little bit stronger down to the surface. Haven't seen much in the way of a big wind signature with this. It's primarily the heavy rainfall, the lightning, and the hail potential with this storm, which I do find that a little bit interesting because this has been a year when we get these storms to come through. The big thing has been wind and heavy rain. We haven't seen a whole lot of the big giant hailstones overall this year. Last season, we had many storms that produced big time hailstones. We ran a story a couple of weeks ago about some of the world record holders falling in Illinois. Some hailstones larger than about 6-7 inches in diameter. That is a very large chunk of ice. So we haven't seen a whole lot of those hail producing storms this year. This cell that we have ongoing right now, this may be one that grabs your attention. And again, there is a severe thunderstorm warning on this storm set to expire at 4 o'clock this afternoon. We'll keep an eye on that and we'll give you any updates as needed. So that's where we are now. What is still to come? Again, we have that severe thunderstorm watch in place until 10 p.m. now. And usually when these are issued by the Storm Prediction Center, they're giving a little bit of lead time on this just to make sure that things are free and clear of the area. Said differently, I would anticipate that most of the severe activity, what is there, should be gone well before 10 p.m. tonight. But how does our computer forecast model see things? Let's take a jump into Futurecast here, pick things up as we go throughout 8, 9 o'clock this evening. You can see it's still putting down some impressive storm cells in our western and southernmost areas. And the forecast data has been consistent with this idea of two separate clusters of storms, if you will, out ahead of this cold front. You see the one that's depicted there over Lake Michigan at 10:15 tonight, and then the other one just south of I-80 southwest Joliet at 10:15 as well. These models have been saying there's going to be a broken line here, kind of two pockets of strong to severe storms trying to roll through. The sweet spot this evening may be between about 7 and 9 p.m. before things get shoved out of here and cleared out of here. Each new run of forecast model data is certainly valuable to us, and we're going to analyze that and give you the latest updates as we go throughout the afternoon and certainly this evening. But the overall idea is that we could see some strong to severe storms roll their way across the area as we head towards, say, 8, 9, 10 o'clock tonight. And then shortly after 10:30, 11 o'clock, most of this should be on its way out of our viewing area, and the rest of the night tonight should be on the quiet side. Cannot rule out a wayward shower tomorrow. It's a Saturday, so of course there's a chance for rain in Chicagoland, right? And then as we move our way into Sunday and Monday, things look to dry out. Lots of sunshine, temperatures hovering in the upper 70s to right around 80. Same idea moving into Tuesday. We may actually get 3 full dry days in a row. That's something we've not done in a while. And before our next chance of showers and storms tries to show back up there on Wednesday, and then things settle down behind that Thursday, Friday. You also notice here temperatures pretty status quo around 80. That's about the average high for this time of year. No major heat coming. All these things, good news. No major heat, no day after day of thunderstorm activity. That is great to try to get this power situation finally fixed up. Still, here at 12 minutes after 3 on a Friday, we've got about 34,000 people in Lake County, Indiana, sitting without power. That's a big improvement over where it's been the past couple of days, no doubt about it. But this is still, in some cases, you're talking about 15 to 20% of the population there in Lake County, Indiana, still do not have power after storms that came through on the 11th of this month. That was a 10-day stretch ago, 10 days, a week and a half it has been, and people are still in the dark. Their sump pumps still don't work. They still have water in places there shouldn't be water. And this is the thing that we've talked about as well, too. Once the lights come back on, once the power is finally fully restored and people get into their homes, think about this for a second. You've got homes which have a lot of wood and drywall in them that have sat in this water for at least 10 days, if not longer. Mold becomes an issue. Deterioration of the structure of some things becomes an issue. Foundation concerns become issues. There's so much more that homeowners will have to do, renters will have to do once the lights are finally back on everywhere and people can get into these homes and see what all has been done. So even when we do get the lights back on, it doesn't mean we are done with this situation, because this has been something that I think many folks have wrestled with, have struggled with for sure, with this entire system, with this severe weather event and and everything that's been happening and how this has played out with the lack of power in some cases. Again, those are the current power outages. Let's go back over and take a look at the latest radar, because again, we do have that one severe thunderstorm that is cruising the range out there. This is near Burlington and Sycamore. That warning is set to expire at 4 o'clock. We're not too concerned about straight line wind with this. It's more in the way of the hailstones, but also too, as I mentioned, to put the lightning icons back on here. This thing is dumping buckets of water, and it's got some pretty mean thunder and lightning to it. These are the old-fashioned window rattlers moving through. Sky is likely pretty dark here this afternoon as well, 3:14 of the afternoon, and it is pretty dark most likely over these areas. We will continue to track that storm, keep an eye on things, and jump back in with any kind of updates as need be. Meteorologist Mark Stray will be in the air chair for weather throughout the afternoon and the evening. I'm sticking around as well. We'll keep an eye on this and give folks updates as well as things go on. All right, we have more Chicago Live. Jake and Casey still sticking around. We will talk to them, and we will see how everything looks to play out for us as we get set and ready to go. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more Chicago Live in just moments. Stay with us. Welcome back to Chicago Live. If you've been watching all day long, you can tell that we've made some changes. We're checking things out. We're pressing some buttons. We're having some fun. There is a live look at the Chicago skyline, but you just heard from JD, and there's a good chance there it is, that there might be a little bit of weather on the way. We got a couple of little blips around right now, but we're going to keep you updated as we wrap up Chicago Live and head into Fox 32 News at 4 in just a bit. So I'm your host, Jake Hamilton. Casey Cronus will be back in just a little bit. We're going to keep you updated on what's going on any minute now. We're going to keep you up to date on the latest here
But as you can tell, it is a beautiful day here in Chicago, but we know that we might be having a little bit of issues any minute as storms are starting to roll through the area. Hopefully not impacting some of the amazing things that are happening at Navy Pier this weekend, like the Navy Pier Marina Boat Showcase. We're bringing in our friend Randy. Randy, how are you, sir?
Doing great today. How are you, sir?
You know what? You're outside at Navy Pier, so I think you might be doing just a little bit better than I am. Can you tell people a little bit about what's the Navy Pier Marina Boat Showcase just feels like a lot of words that I want said together all at the same time?
Well, why don't we make it simpler for you? It's officially the Skyline Social, and we're hosting it here at Navy Pier Marina with 5 of the best local dealers, from Jefferson Beach Yacht Sales to Bay Marine to Springbrook Marine. A whole bunch of boats behind me. We got about 35 great boats on display, and from 4 to 9, we're going to have just a nice little social event with music, live music, and cocktails and some appetizers, and let people check out some great new and brokerage boats.
Listen, as you can tell, sort of in the little area that we've got, the little box that we've got going, it's a beautiful day out there. All the boats out there, you know, if you come with a giant wad of cash, are you walking away with one of them?
Yeah, you could probably come with even a smaller wad of cash and walk away with one. You never know. We've got everything from, I think, 24 to 75-foot vessels here on display right now.
Listen, I am very much of the belief of I got to get a friend with a boat. Be honest with me, my friend. Any of those beautiful boats behind you, are any of them yours?
Mine's on the other side, and it'll make your viewers a little nauseous if I try to turn around and show it to you. But yes, my boat's here.
So as I've been saying, I need a friend with a boat, dude. So what I'm trying to say is you and me, man. You and me. Come on.
There you go. Well, think of one of those beauties back there that being displayed. That'd be great. I got a marina, so everybody should bring their boats here. It's a wonderful place to stay, and it's awesome.
It really is. You know what? What do you think it is? I'm sure you have seen. You know, there are a lot of different places around the country that are great places to host something like this. But I am biased in that I truly do believe that you know, our shot. I mean, here, let's take a look at the water right now. That our shot here, our lakefront, is truly among the best, not just in the country, but I honestly do believe in the world. What do you think it is about our area that makes us such a beneficial place to be out on the water?
I mean, I just think I was born and raised in Chicago here, and boating on Lake Michigan is just phenomenal. Fresh water, all kinds of different wave action depending on how you like to boat, whether you're sailing or power boating or jet skiing. And there's nothing prettier than looking at Lake Michigan and Chicago skyline, which you can see behind me, and the Ferris wheel here at Navy Pier. We got everything going for us here right now.
You know, one of the things I always loved about shows like this as a kid is, you know, we weren't necessarily gonna walk away with one of these boats. We weren't in a position to have one of these boats, but it also gave me the chance to, for lack of a better phrase, just kind of be nosy and poke around and look inside boats that otherwise maybe I wouldn't get the chance to look inside. Is that the sort of interactivity that you guys are gonna have there?
Yeah, there'll be some of that. I think this curated event by the dealers is more so for the boating community, meaning those who own boats or are interested in buying boats. But there will definitely be people who walk around and look at what's available and what the different models and makes are and how they work. And frankly, sometimes that makes for a new boater. So you never know. Come on down. You might find something that you think works for you.
And listen, you know, exactly. You know what? You're exactly right. Listen, I've been to plenty of boat shows where, you know, the boats are up on a trailer or it's in a big convention center, and listen, those are great. That is a good Saturday to be had. But there's something about seeing the boat in the water that just sort of feels different. It feels like you're seeing it the way it feels like you're seeing a bird in the air. It's the place it should be.
I 100% agree. Can't say it any better. There's nothing like an in-water boat show to get the complete effect and feel of what a boat's all about. Seeing them in the warehouse doesn't do it for me either.
All right. Well, you know what? We've got a beautiful skyline right now. It looks gorgeous outside. There might be a little bit of blip of rain here and there, but we're hoping for a beautiful weekend. Can you let people know when they can come out, when they can see it, and is it what kind of ticket price are they looking at?
The event is no charge. You just need to show an invitation from one of the dealers, which is on everybody's social media. I can give you those names again if you want. And it's from 4 to 9 tonight and 4 to 9 tomorrow. And tomorrow following the show at 10 o'clock are fabulous Navy Pier fireworks. So it's the place to come and check out.
Can you give us those names one more time just so people can take a moment, let people grab a pen and paper? If people still do that, and then go ahead and give us the names one more time.
You got it. I'll talk slow while you get it.
All right.
I'll tell you that we're really, really proud of our marina sponsors, Dakwa, Rainwater, Great Lakes Scuttlebutt, and of course, Chef Art Smith's reunion right here at Navy Pier. The dealers who are exhibiting today are Bassos Marine, Weber Yachts, Springbrook Marine, Bay Marine, and of course Jefferson Beach Yacht Sales, who's been instrumental in helping pull this all together. And again, you can see all those great boats back there. It's going to be fun.
And as someone who has been, obviously I lived around Navy Pier for a long time. That's such a great area. I know you guys have your choice of places along our lakefront where you can host something like this, but I feel like Navy Pier feels like a really great place to do it, because in addition to doing this, you can go and grab a bite to eat. If you're of age, you can grab maybe an adult beverage. You can hop on the Ferris wheel if you want to. It kind of feels like this could be a nice part, but of a part of a much bigger day.
100%, and don't skip flyover if you come this way. It's a Disney-like ride that's just amazing. I've actually been on it 9 times.
Wait, you've been on the flyover 9 times?
Well, friends, family, grandkids, and I really enjoy it. So yeah, when anybody comes and wants to see it, it doesn't get old for me. So I just go ride again.
You know what? I've been saying that I need a friend with a boat, and I thought that you were good. I wanted you because you had the boat. I just think you sound like a cool guy. I think we should just be friends in general. But the fact that you have a boat.
How about I see you between 4 and 9 tonight? Let's come on over and introduce yourself. I look forward to it.
Say less, my friend. I am sold. This is going to be fantastic. Thank you for taking the time. We really do appreciate you. Have a great rest of the weekend, and I'll see you out there this weekend, all right?
And thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Take care. All right, much more to come here on Chicago Live. Let's take a live look outside that beautiful, listen, if you had a boat and you were out there, you'd be having a truly fantastic day. Much more to come here on the show. We got just over 30 minutes left before we kick off Fox 32 News at 4. But you don't want to go anywhere. Casey Cronus will be back, and we'll tell you much more right here on Chicago Live.
Welcome back to Chicago Live. Well, there is another preseason Bears game tomorrow, this one on the road. We want to bring in now our very own Devin Caney, who will be joining us from Cincinnati. We will head out to her in just a moment. But first, let's take a live look at the Bean. It is a gorgeous day here in Chicago. A lot of folks out on this Friday afternoon enjoying the beautiful weather. It's a little bit busier than it's been over the last week. So really beautiful day there. And then let's take another look, why don't we, at Buckingham Fountain as well. We have covered a lot today on this Friday, and we are looking forward to a hopefully gorgeous weekend here. White Sox are playing at home tonight. And then, of course, as we mentioned it, but the Bears will take on Cincinnati tomorrow evening. We have been working on a lot of different stories today, and one of those was a story that we brought to you earlier about Caitlin's Kitchen. This is an organization that was founded in honor of a teacher, a second grade teacher, who died from complications of COVID-19, and tomorrow her family will honor her by opening Caitlin's Kitchen. This is giving students in Waukegan a chance to learn about food insecurity, to learn about equal access to food. And this ribbon cutting is taking place tomorrow morning, starting at 10 in the morning. Again, it is in Waukegan at Lewis Middle School. Caitlin's Kitchen is being built next to the greenhouse there, and kids will get a vast education of what it takes to put food on the table. It'll be a farm-to-table learning experience. And again, this is all in memory of Caitlin Schomburger, who died of COVID-19 complications. We also today on Chicago Live spoke with a woman who has her own laundry business, and she will be offering free services to individuals who live in Gary, who are, of course, still, a lot of them, in the dark because of those storms last week. Let me leave you here with this image for just a moment while we get Devin Caney fired up and ready to talk to us about all things Bears. Welcome back to Chicago Live. We think we have our very own Devin Caney now. We're going to get her up. She is coming to us from Cincinnati ahead of tomorrow's Bears game. We think we've got her up here. Let me just do a quick little check here as we get this sorted out. Devin, can you hear me? All right, maybe not, perhaps not. We will check on her in just a second here, but it seems that her shot is not ready quite yet. She is in Cincinnati on the road with the Bears for tomorrow's preseason game. So we hope to check in with her in just a little bit. We don't have a ton of time left in this show this afternoon. Hope you're bearing with us here. We are changing things around here. We're on a new set this afternoon. So we're working things out here. And so, yeah, we just want to thank you for watching and thank you for being with us here today. Hey, Devin, can you hear me? I don't think she can hear me. All right, we're not going to go there just yet, but take a look here at the Bean. Gorgeous day out today, absolutely beautiful day, and we thank you again for watching us here. Give us just a moment, and we just want to sit on this image for a second. All right, we've got Jake Hamilton joining us here as we
look at that shot. I like it.
We're trying to get Devin's shot up, but you know, there are always challenges when you are taking things on the road. You've got to travel with a ton of equipment, and you know, you're working in different environments there.
Well, particularly the sports team. You know, I at this point, I'm really curious as to how, why, or if they have any kind of a home base here in Chicago. I know with the Bears schedule coming up, a lot of them are going to be on the road. A lot, you know, things are ramping up for them. You know, it's so funny. Obviously, I do a lot of the entertainment stuff, and I always sort of equate it to like the summer movie season or like you know, awards season. You know, and for them, particularly with us being, you know, the home of the Bears.
Yep.
You know, this is a very busy time for them. And here's the big question I want to ask you, because I asked Devin and I asked Cassie, do you do fantasy football? Does your husband do fantasy football?
I do not, and he does not, but a lot of his friends do.
Sure.
He does golf fantasy instead. Yes.
So he was probably watching Live Golf.
Well, but I don't think it's PGA.
Okay,
it's not Live.
Yeah. Okay.
But yes, he follows all of that.
That's so I wouldn't even know. How that works.
Yeah, you pick a different golfer every tournament, and you monitor them. But we have friends who do fantasy football, and they have, you know, full-on weekends where they are drafting their teams. And I heard you talking about it. It's intense.
It's a very. Here's what I'll say. The best part of it is that it has kept me and my buddies who went to high school together still very close 20 years later, right? I mean, we are talking about guys that you know, we started this when we went to high school.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're still doing it, we still occasionally will do a trip together. You know, here's the most fantasy football thing ever. We got the gang together to go to Vegas, the most cliche guy thing you could possibly do. And then we said, okay, well, who's at the Sphere, right? And the way that a group of 12 fantasy football guys had the best time at Backstreet Boys at the Sphere.
I love it, Jake. I love it.
You didn't have to zoom in for that. That was very dramatic. Like zoom in on Backstreet Boys. I will say it's a really great opportunity. And here's another benefit I would say, what I always tell people about doing fantasy football, is that it makes you care about games that maybe you otherwise wouldn't care about.
Absolutely.
And, you know, obviously, everyone here, everyone watching tunes into Fox 32 whenever we have the Bears, because we are the home of the Bears.
We are.
But occasionally a game might pop up and you'll go, Skins versus Browns. Who cares? But then maybe you have the kicker.
Yep, you have a key
and
player
maybe
in the
you're
game.
8 points down, and maybe you need the Browns kicker to get you over that. And all of a sudden, this game that otherwise wouldn't have mattered to you at all,
you're in front of the
becomes
TV.
the most important football game you've ever seen in your life. And so that's why I always say it's such a great benefit of these kinds of things is, one, the camaraderie.
Yeah.
I will say I did drop out of the Fox 32 Fantasy Football League.
I didn't even know there was one, Jake.
They were discussing inviting you. They're very intimidated. But here's the thing, is that when you start being a part of multiple leagues, you get to a point where you're playing against yourself.
Yeah.
Because you'll have a quarterback. But then you'll be playing a guy in the other league who has that quarterback. And then it becomes not even fun because it's like, well, I got points in one and I got points against. It just gets to a point where, so I respectfully had to bow out of and it broke my heart. But I respectfully had to bow out of the Fox 32 Chicago Fantasy Football League. I asked for forgiveness.
I'm told we have Devin, so let's
far more
see
important.
if she can hear us now. I think she can. Devin, can you hear us now?
I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you so much for bearing with us. Tell us a little bit about what it's been like since you got on the ground in Cincinnati.
Yeah, well, it's been extremely sunny and hot here the past 2 days. So yesterday's joint practice was certainly a tough one just with the elements and also the fact that it was over 2 hours long with the Bears and Bengals starters mostly being evaluated by their head coaches and those in charge of personnel. We should expect similar intensity during the preseason game tomorrow. That being said, quarterback Tyson Bagent, who started preseason game 1 for the Bears, didn't travel with the team because he's dealing with an injury. So still remains to be seen who's going to get the start tomorrow. But yesterday was enough, I believe, for Ben Johnson to evaluate his first team both on offense and defense, guys.
All right. And have you talked to, I know you guys just got on the ground. Have you talked to any fans yet? Have you seen any Bears fans repping their apparel yet?
I haven't seen a ton of fans. I will say, I don't know if you guys can see it behind me, but the setup of the Bengals stadium is such that the practice fields are right across from the stadium. So on top of the practice fields, there's 2 highways that cross over. And yes, that means Bengals fans can stand up there and watch. But I also heard several Go Bears chants from that highway watching practice yesterday on those highways. As you can see now, our photographer Brian's doing a good job showing you. So haven't seen a ton yet, but I'm sure that Bears fans, they're loyal. They'll even show up to a preseason game. I'm sure we'll see them out and about at Paycor Stadium come game time tomorrow, guys.
And Devin, do we think that our stars are playing tomorrow? What do we know in terms of Caleb Williams in particular?
Well, so ahead of yesterday's joint practice, Ben Johnson told us that it would remain to be seen pretty much. He meant like it depends how yesterday's practice went. Seeing if these guys got enough reps, seeing if they put in the work that Ben Johnson likes them to hit. He has these kind of quotas that he likes each player to hit, especially his starters. I think he takes it week by week. And basically, like last week, he said he's already seen enough of Caleb. He didn't need to see him play in a preseason game. If that's the case this week, that remains to be seen. But like I said, Tyson Bagent did not travel with the team. So if it's not Caleb Williams out there tomorrow, which I will note, if it is, I would highly doubt it's for a very long time, maybe for a series or two. It will likely be Case Keenum and then Miller Moss backing him up at quarterback.
All right, Devin, we so appreciate you sticking with us. We hope you have fun this weekend. I know you'll be busy, but thanks for chatting with us here on Chicago Live.
Of course. Thanks, guys.
All right, and stay with us here on Chicago Live. We are going to take a quick break, and we will be right back with our last guest. Welcome back to Chicago Live. We are introducing now our next guest, our last guest of this afternoon's show. We'd like to introduce to you Taj from Hoops in the Hood. They are holding a tournament today, and we have him joining us right now to talk a little bit about it. Thank you for being here. First off, give us a background on your organization.
Thank you for having me. So Hoops in the Hood, it is a community-based program just to interact with the neighborhood, specifically the Cabrini Greens neighborhood, and just unite the community in sportsmanship, because sports, it helps interconnects everyone throughout, regardless of age or background. So we just bring out people from across teams and kids from across the city to come and play basketball within the park. And it's truly just an amazing opportunity just to have fun, connect with people, and get to know individuals through sports.
And what have you seen in terms of changing lives with the participants who have been part of this?
With the changing of lives, I've seen lifelong friendships form and lifelong connections form. I myself have formed countless connections with police officers who help participate and run the event, with the community organizer Vince Carter, who helps, who puts the show on, and of course just other participants, teammates that you gather and compete against. It just builds friendship, it builds camaraderie, and that carries on throughout life and throughout the rest of my career that I've done, like with school and everything. So it's been a phenomenal way to connect with people and just grow as a community and within a community.
And tell us a little bit about the tournament that you guys have going. Is it today?
Yes, we have a Hoops in the Hood event today. I know the final one is today or next week. But yes, so throughout the summer, we host multiple events every Thursday throughout the entire summer, and multiple teams compete every Thursday. And then at the end of the summer, we have the Hoops in the Hood tournament, where the people who did the best throughout the summer in the pool play, they come and they compete against each other. So the last few Hoops in the Hoods are more competitive than the first couple, but it's a great opportunity just to come out, show out, and just support.
And how can people at home help out with your organization?
Tune in, support through social media and sharing it, and then of course coming to the events and then sending your kids. Like, we always want more kids, especially within the community and outside the community, to come and participate, because we always want to make this event bigger and better. So come out, support, join the Hoops in the Hood family, and just be a part of community, be a part of a sports community.
And also, really quick, how old are the participants? What ages? What's the youngest that you have involved?
So the youngest that we have involved is around 6th, 7th grade. And then the oldest is 17, 18-year-olds. So we primarily heavy focus on the teenagers and high schoolers. So if you have a high schooler, if you have a club program or a park district program that wants to play basketball and be competitive throughout the summer, Hoops in the Hood has games every Thursday, and we're always looking for more teams.
Thank you so much for joining us. Anything else that you want our viewers to know?
Yes, sports is a phenomenal thing that helps connect us all, regardless of background, regardless of demographic. It's interconnecting and extremely developmental for youth. So everyone participate in sports, get your kids in sports, everyone get out, get active, and just connect with people in your community.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you have an awesome weekend.
Thank you.
All right, talk soon. Thanks. Well, thank you so much for watching this special edition of Chicago Live, and thank you for bearing with us as we learn some of these new technical tips and tricks here in the new studio. We hope you will join us again on Monday, but for now, we will leave you with hopefully having an amazing weekend, and the news at 4 will be coming up in just a couple of minutes. Thank you for watching.